Hello and Assalamualaikum. Today I'm going to present about Fourth Industrial Revolution. So we are from section 2P, under Dr. Adi Irawan bin Hashim. We are from group 2. This is our group members: Muhammad Nabil Ashraf bin Ruslan, Muhammad Azmi bin Karul Fauzi, Muhammad Zuhair bin Faiz bin Muhammad, Ismail Muhammad Musa, Muhammad Shazwan bin Ibrahim. So this is me, presenter number 1, Muhammad Azmi bin Karul Fauzi. ID number is EA18079. So there are four big ethical question of the fourth industrial revolution. So the first one is, should the technology be developed in the first place? Okay, we have to recall back in the 18th century, because the world economy embarked on the rapid process of change. During the Industrial Revolution, new technologies greatly modified the productivity of workers, while fossil fuels pushed manufacturing and transportation systems far beyond the natural limits of human and animal power. As this advance drove the cost of industrial production down, consumption of manufactured goods skyrocketed around the world. By the end of the 19th century, nearly every society on Earth had been affected by the arrival of the new product, new means of transportation, new weapons, and new ideas. Scholars have tried to explain these causes of this great transformation since it began. So, and then I need to explain the first until the fourth industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution used water and steam power to mechanize productions, and the second used electric power to create mass production. The third used electronic and information technology to automate production. Now a fourth industrial revolution is building on the third, the digital revolution that has been occurring since the middle of the last century. It is characterized by a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. The fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4, is extremely relevant and increasingly important in manufacturing for a multitude of reasons. Put as simply as possible, Industry 4 represents the next wave of the technology driving efficiency across operations. Failing to adopt technology of the fourth industrial revolution will cause organizations to fall behind, as their operation will not be digitized enough to match competitors. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I would like to present about our assignment number 2 for subject Engineering and Society. So the assignment is asking us about the ethical question of the Fourth Industrial Revolution IR4.0. So I would like to present about the question number 2, which is if a technology is going to proceed, to what ends should it be deployed? So, my name is Ahmad Zul Ifan Faiz bin Muhammad. My number ID is EA18081. So, my answer for the question that have been given is, during the Fourth Industrial Revolution, there will be a wide variety of so-called human enhancement on offer. Some will focus on eliminating disease, others may extend human capacity we wish to promote or reduce, such as greater athletic ability, greater memory, or less aggressive behavior. Rather than making endorsement or prohibition about enhancement in general, each type should be considered on a case-by-case basis in terms of how likely it is so advance or diminish human flourishing. So, I will give an example. Medical during the IR 4.0. So this is the technology of Industry 4.0 which may help in COVID-19 outbreaks. So for number 1 is artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is a powerful tool which can be very useful against the pandemic of COVID-19 regarding the assessment of risk of infection and screening of population. It is an application similar to machine learning, computer vision, and natural language processing, which can instruct computers to use models based on big data for recognizing, explaining, and predicting the pattern. AI can predict the outbreak and can also minimize or even stall the spread of the virus. The wrong information presented on the social platform related to COVID-19 can be detected and removed subsequently with an application of AI. The clinical trials for drugs and vaccines against this virus can be optimized with the use of the AI. It can be used to develop robots which can help undertake sanitization jobs and perform an online medical examination of the people. So number two is Internet of Things. Internet of Things is an automated solution that has resulted in tremendous growth in automated manufacturing management of assets. It comprises of collection, transfer, analytics, and storage of data. IoT is proven to be very helpful in the fight of COVID-19. For instance, drones are used for surveillance in order to ensure the implementation of the quarantine and mask wearing. This technology can be used for tracing the origin of an outbreak. So as you can see that COVID-19 can spread by touching or as spreaded. So by using the IoT through the drones, we can ensure the implementation of the quarantine and the mask wearing. So number three is big data. Big data is analytic technique which is very much suitable to track and control the worldwide spread of the disease COVID-19. Big data can be highly useful for analyzing and forecasting the reach and impact of the coronavirus on people. The COVID-19 trackers can collect the almost real-time data from sources around the world and subsequently equip the scientists and doctors. So, for example, in Malaysia, we have a MySejahtera apps which can be used to check in almost all the places that we have been go. So if we have the disease, the government can track us by using the MySejahtera apps, can check where does we go before we got the disease. So this technology really helps the medical in the industrial revolution on 4.0. So that is it for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. My name is Muhammad Nabi Ashraf bin Ruslan, EA18078 from Section 2P Engineering Society. If the technology is to go forward, how should it proceed? From my opinion, it comes from the business, from the company. Because the company can develop some of the technologies referred to the application of science, data, engineering and information for the business purpose, such as the achievement and economic or organizational goals. The main element of technology is the idea of change and how it can affect business and society. If the product that create got a good response from the people, so the product with the technology such as a one machine can help human to do work. Of course, the product will be sold to anywhere or other countries. So the technology from the company developed can spread to the world. So second is research in technology. The improvement in technology created by the engineer and deep research from the scientists. This is one of the factors that the technology will always advance and go forward because the intelligence from the engineer and scientists. For an example, many machine or equipment that help people work and produce some output easily, such as the medicine and healthcare, or produce one unique car in a minute, and so on.
Assalamualaikum and good day. I'm Muhammad Shazwan bin Ibrahim, EA18060. I'm presenter 4, would like to present question number 4, which is, once norms have been set, how will the field be monitored to ensure adherence? There are currently guidelines in place for many aspects of research and technology dissemination, but there are significant gaps in our ability to monitor adherence or hold bad actors accountable. For example, there are sound regulations in place for the management of certain type of toxic chemicals, but there are insufficient fund to support regulatory staff monitoring and inspecting chemical sites. The governance mechanism of the 21st century will have to grapple with the question of what areas require mandatory regulation and how to enforce it. Faith must inform the answer to this question, but faith alone are insufficient. All four questions necessitate a willingness to discuss our core values, even when doing so may result in disagreement and conflict. Perhaps the least contentious value is safety. The majority of people on the planet believe that we have a responsibility to reduce the likelihood of people being harmed by new technologies. Indeed, most existing regulatory bodies' primary responsibility is to promote safety. However, there are other very important values at stake, and they are frequently overlooked. First, we must commit to equity, which means doing everything possible to ensure that all people, regardless of their economic circumstances, have access to the benefit of technologies. Otherwise, we run the risk exacerbating what Extinct Center scholar Eric Perrin has called the already obscene gap between the have and have-nots. Values that have to do with way of being in the world, with how we women relate to one another and to the natural environment, are we more difficult to discuss. Some people are concerned that human genetic engineering will change parent-child relationship by encouraging hyper-agency on the part of parents who will focus more on designing babies to suit their needs rather than nurturing children to become who they will become. Values such as stewardship and respect for the intrinsic value of wilderness areas are frequently overlooked or misrepresented as being in opposition to economic development. And at the heart of many of these issues is the fundamental ethical question of how much we as women should intervene in the natural world to change the nature of our species, other species, and the environment. That's all for me. Thank you.
To conclude our title or our fourth question, the Fourth Industrial Revolution or Industry 4.0 is ongoing automation of traditional manufacturing and industrial practices using modern smart technology, large scale and machine-to-machine communication, which is called M2M, and the Internet of Things, IoT, are integrated for increased automation, improved communication and self-monitoring. Also, it will help all society and government to live in good environments that provide all their needs. And here I show down below the first four industrial revolution, first and second and third and fourth. And my name is Ismail Muhammad. My matric number EA17096. The subject, engineering and society. Thank you for listening.